So, as you can see, our special guest has arrived, Pastor Tim. I've had the honor and pleasure to be in this church and learn and grow and be imparted to by him for such a long time. And he's a tremendous blessing to me and my family. We couldn't ask for a better pastor. Okay? With the things that are happening within the church and the transitions that's taking place and moving across the street, and if you don't, I know some of you guys are fairly new and might not know what all is going on with that, but God has blessed us and blessed our pastor and moving us forward with the vision that he has. And we're not separate from the church. We are Connection Church. Okay, our vision is what pastor's vision. Okay, we are tied to Connection Church. We're not the edge, some separate thing that hangs out at the top of the church. We are a part of this body, and we are kings. You guys are kings and queens of this kingdom, and he has mighty plans for you guys. Okay, and everything that's going on, I just felt like this was a great time for Pastor to come and impart something to you guys. And so please just welcome him, and thank you for coming.
All right. Finally made it to the cool kids too.
Yeah.
How's everybody tonight? Good. I didn't even want to put this up here, but I don't want to stand here and hold my iPad the whole time. So that's all right.
Yes, sir.
I was really, really honored that Jeremy and Max asked me to come up and talk to you guys. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to sit home and talk. A few years ago, many years ago now, how many remember when we had the men's conference here not too long ago? We had a guy named Paul Cole came up here, and he's an old guy trying to be cool. Okay? I'm the only one in the building allowed to be an old guy trying to be cool. But I was in a meeting in California, and there was about 25,000 people in the main meeting, and there was about 1,800 of people your ages. And they asked me to not only handle the music and stuff for the main meeting, but they asked me to handle all of the music during the day for this group that they call the Young Lions. And so while all their parents were sitting in this great big conference in the stadium in Anaheim, these young people, they were at the cool kids table. That meeting was actually a whole lot more fun than the big meeting. The big meeting was guys like Benny Hinn, guys you don't even know, but big old ministers that were, just doing their thing. But the fun part was hanging out with the guys y'all's age. And I had a blast at that. But one of the things that the man who was running the meeting did is he made every one of those big-time ministers, guys that had television broadcasts and traveled the world and ministered in places where there was 25,000 people at a time talking. He said, if you're going to come and you're going to minister in my conference, you have to take one session and you have to go talk to my young lions. That was a hoot. Imagine, have you ever flipped through channels and seen TV preachers? What do you think of when you first think of TV preachers?
Oh, it's that guy.
Right? I mean, some of them are just kind of, they got their little grooves, don't they? Can you imagine these guys coming into this conference with 25,000 people, and they got their big suits on, they got their big ties on, and then the guy running the conference says, now you need to go talk to the kids. What? You want to be a part of the kids? You want to be part of my conference? You got to talk to my kids. And these guys, they walked in the door, and you can okay, I'm gonna come and talk to the kids now. But this guy Paul Cole, his dad was at the meeting. And Edwin Lewis Cole was a phenomenal minister. For starters, back in the 90s, he was in Texas. He walks in and he looks like Walker, Texas Ranger. Now, you guys know the Walker, Texas Ranger this now. And who's starring in Walker, Texas Ranger now? Anybody know? Jeremy Padalecki.
I don't even know his name.
Well, during the Walker, Texas Ranger that I knew was Chuck Norris.
Yep.
I know that.
Now, remember Chuck Norris?
Yep.
Well, when Ed Cole came in, Ed was dressed just like Chuck Norris. And it wasn't because he was trying to dress like Chuck Norris. It's because when Chuck Norris met Ed Cole, he said, this is what my character should look like. Ed Cole had been dressing like Chuck Norris before Chuck Norris was dressing like Chuck Norris. And he said something that blew me away. You gotta understand, this guy comes in, he's like 68 years old. He's wearing a black cowboy hat. He's wearing a long black trench coat. He's got a buckle here that looks like a satellite dish. And he comes in, he walks in, stands there like an old man. He goes, "You want me to talk to you like kids? Or do you want me to talk to you like adults?" Now, what do you think everybody in the room said?
Adults.
Adults. He said, "Good, that's what I wanted to hear." And that's the way I want to talk to you. And if you pay attention, when you have an opportunity to come and see me after church on a Sunday, I'll mess with you. I'll go, "Hey, how you doing?" Right? But you know what? I do that to Jeremy too. "Hey, how you doing?" Because it's who I am. I don't look at you like a bunch of kids. I look at you like people. Look at your neighbor, say, "You're a person." How many knew that was true? I've run into a couple of people that might be debatable. Okay? But the fact of the matter is, Jeremy just said something very important. You are a part of Connection Church. You are a part of what's going on here. And the value that is inside of your life is not any less than the value of the life of the people that are downstairs listening to Tony and getting bored right now. I'm just having a hard time. Tony's not going to bore us. But the problem is that adults don't think like that. Have you ever noticed that? How many have been treated like a kid before? Like today? Anybody today got treated like a kid? All right. And the problem with that is there's two problems with that. Number one, when adults tend to categorize you as kids, as, I hate this word, teens. That's a dangerous word. Okay? So what do? We get around the team, we get politically correct, and we call it next gen or whatever. And it's all stereotypes. And they lose sight of the fact that inside of you is a brain, is a will, is creativity, is insight, there's dreams. Regardless of what some people think, there's wisdom. Hello? Anybody run in front of a car lately? When you're walking across the street and there's a car coming down the road at 50 miles an hour, how many of you are like, "Oh, he'll stop," and just walk out? What do?
You wait and you look both ways.
Why do you wait and look both ways?
I don't get hit by a car.
So you don't get hit by a car. You know what we call that? Wisdom. Wisdom. And the thing about it is, like Jeremy was saying a couple minutes ago, each and every one of you are, and some of you are new, but after you've been here like for the third time, we just consider you part of us. So it's all right. How many times have you been here? Okay, next week, that's the thing, you're here. All right, now here's the thing. It is important for us that are in my age bracket, and people that are in Jeremy's age bracket, and people that are in Max's age bracket. How old are you? 30. How old are you? Huh? 42. And on, everybody write it down, May 20th, I'll be 55.
No.
There's 3 age groups right here. Now, how old are y'all?
I'm 16.
16, 14, 13?
I'm 22.
You are 22. You might be the size of your little boy's shirt. Okay, now what's going on here? The value of every person in this room is the same in the eyes of God. It just ends up not being the same in the eyes of people. And one of the reasons that happens is that people have a tendency to devalue others based on their age, based on their experience, based on their knowledge, based on their grades. Hello? How many of you ever felt like this happened to you? Okay? But guess what? It happens to me all the time. I have people that are your age out on the street see me sometimes as like, well, that's just an old guy trying to get into heaven. You know? They call my jokes dad jokes. Now, I want to ask a question. What qualifies a joke to be a dad joke?
Well, a dad says it.
A dad said it.
Says.
What's that?
It's
A joke that dad said. Because most of the jokes I didn't get from dads. I got it from a meme. And when it was a meme, it wasn't a dad joke. But when I said it, it becomes a dad joke. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
How many know that's true, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, guess what? In the same way that the adults have devalued you based on your age, based on your wisdom, based on the way you do things, based on your groove, based on whatever they base it on, sometimes people your age do the same thing with me. Why? Because I tell dad jokes. It wasn't even a dad joke. It was really funny until I said it. Okay? And this is what happens in the world. The world has a tendency to value others based on where they stand. Lori.
The only thing that I see something different is like what age like this, like teen, like I don't know, teen stuff, and then adults like stuff that no kid. I've seen memes that don't get.
I'm trying. Say it again.
Okay. So my mom and dad always say something like in a movie something happens, they start bursting out laughing, so it's funny. They say you don't get it
You don't get it because you're not old enough.
yeah, or
Well, there are some things that hit each generation because there's some things y'all laugh at that I just don't get. There's things you do that's like, I don't even know what it is. I'm afraid to do some of them because I'm afraid it might be wrong. Hello? Like somebody, is this wrong? What's this? I don't know what this is. See what I'm saying? What I'm doing is I'm getting the dirt out of my hands. My fingernails right there. I don't sit with my fingernails. But there's things that's going on there. There's people that are like pound their fist together. People his age do that. They pound their fist together. I don't know what that is. Don't want to know. It's terrifying. Why? Because if you do the wrong thing, see what happens? Everybody was laughing. Like, oh my God, I can't believe Pastor just did that. Right? The fact of the matter is that the culture sets that. The age sets that. Things that happen generation by generation by generation. But it should not devalue somebody based on where things are at. Now, I want to show you a couple things. Okay? I brought with me a prop.
Hey.
Why ooh?
I don't.
Good job.
This is not, watch this, Rory. Watch, right here, right here, right here.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's amazing. Pretzels and mustard. It's absolutely awesome. You want pretzels and mustard? You're good right now? How about you? You're like on a keto right now. You're good.
Oh my god.
Does anybody in the room even like mustard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many people in the room now? 3, 6, 10, 12, and 13. So about half the people like mustard. How many of you really do not care for mustard? Man, now I really need some pretzels. I got really hungry about doing that. Let's talk about mustard tonight. Rory, why don't you like mustard?
It's absolutely terrible.
It's absolutely terrible.
Wait.
Sweet.
Maybe
not
not
that
Like
sweet.
you said sour, I would understand just a little bit. Sweet.
It's
Please. No. Wait. No.
You guys have never been to the pretzel stand?
Y'all live your world, I will live mine, all right?
They offer pretzels with mustard,
I
like,
know, I've seen it, but I
Annie's
don't
and all
eat
that.
it.
Well, I hope you enjoy it.
It's amazing. It's really good. Who else doesn't like mustard? Why don't you like
I
mustard?
don't like the way it smells and it tastes weird to me. Like I don't like the flavor.
Who else? Are there? It's just disgusting.
I
Oh,
can't answer.
You?
I don't like anything.
why don't you
I
like
don't
mustard?
like any kind of condiment. I don't like the texture and it doesn't taste good. It's just, no. I don't like it.
How about you?
It doesn't taste good.
It just doesn't taste good. Now, who likes mustard? Do you like mustard?
No.
No. Why don't you like mustard?
It just has a weird taste.
It has a weird taste. Do you like it? Why?
It just has a lot of flavors.
Sing the praises of mustard. Why do you like mustard? It's yellow. Good. Why else do you like mustard? I mean, it's a happy color.
Makes the food taste good.
Makes the food taste good. Changes the flavor of the food. Why? Do you like mustard? What do you love about mustard?
It just tastes good.
It just tastes good. Now watch this. I have right here in my handy dandy iPad 10 facts about mustard.
Like, yeah. Are we get into about the mustard seed?
No,
No, we're not. Okay, we're not going there.
this is the health benefits of mustard. That's just one of the things. Number one, here's a good fact. It's great on hot dogs. It's great on brats. It's great with sausage. Sausage and egg biscuit with a little big mustard. That's just the pleasure benefits. It's awesome on pretzels right here. Jeremy, you don't want pretzels?
I'm good right now.
Here we go. Watch this. Mustard relieves muscle pains. It can affect respiratory disorders. This is gross. It can cure ringworm.
Yummy.
That's cool.
All right? If you get a ringworm, have a tablespoon of mustard. Watch what happens. The ringworm's like,
See? It's
I
not
also
exactly.
use
Exactly.
what?
Did you just say you could use that?
Guess what? It can be used as part of the treatment for cancer or diabetes. That blew me away because I went and looked at this and was like, what's good about mustard? And I started realizing, like, man, I need to eat a lot more mustard. It relieves muscle spasms. What else can it do? I said respiratory disorders. It is like a decongestant. Like, have anybody ever had like allergies or you had to take what, like Sudafed and all that?
Right now.
Yeah. Here, have some mustard.
No,
Get it away.
get away. No,
I'm trying to offer you a cure. Here's some cure.
take
I had a
some
pretzel.
when
You
I
can put something. You'll take some
I'll take
later.
some when I get
Liars go to hell. It says so. You're not taking a lick of mustard.
I'm taking medicine when I get home.
All right. I want to watch. I want to see the video.
I'm not gonna take mustard. I'm gonna take medicine.
You
Not
take
that.
medicine. Well, so you should take some mustard. Man, it's good. This is a better idea than I even thought. If I'd only been pretzels up here, I'd been up here like 10 minutes early. You can even gargle with mustard.
Okay, that's too far.
It cures body aches. It works like aspirin or Tylenol. Don't even take it. It says you massage the mustard into the sore.
I'd rather drink it.
What?
I'd rather.
You'd rather drink it. Mustard juice. They have mustard tea.
That's it. I like.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, mustard tea
Uh,
is home medicine right now.
This is going to blow you away. Yellow mustard is an effective home remedy to get rid of bad breath. Want to kiss your boyfriend? Take some mustard. Kiss your girlfriend's like, man, it's good. Told you, prevents cancer. Cancer for bladders, cancer for cervical, cancer for colon, all these things. It boosts your metabolism. Jeremy works at GNC. He likes to boost his metabolism.
Max.
Or Max, excuse me, Max works at GNC. He likes to boost his metabolism. Jeremy works on Post, but he likes to park his metabolism.
It's part pretty good.
That's right. These are really good. It strengthens your bones and your teeth. It helps you recover more quickly from a cold or cough. Yeah, I got one more in here, I think, somewhere.
I wouldn't be surprised if that thing could kill COVID.
It probably could.
At this point.
How many remember when did your mom ever rub Vicks on your chest? You can do that with mustard. It's the same thing. You call yourself Yellow Belly. more. Trying to get one more. No, it's not going to give me any more. There's 10 of them. Did you ever know that about mustard?
No.
What did you know about mustard?
It's yellow.
It's yellow and it tastes.
Bad.
It tastes absolutely amazing.
Absolutely terrible.
It makes pretzels taste perfect.
Okay. Down horrendous.
She said down horrendous.
Now here's the problem.
There's probably more cons than pros.
No, there's more pros than cons. It is they actually call it a superfood. Now, I'm sorry, and Rory, just for you, I'm going to make sure that your parents know all about the properties of mustard.
I hope they use it.
Yeah, it's okay. I babysat
Now,
him.
now watch this. Watch this. The problem with this mustard is that it's just going around minding its own business with all the amazing, remarkable capabilities that it has. And half the people in the room judged it. Because we don't like it. And when I asked you why you didn't like it, listen to the reasons you gave. It tastes disgusting. It tastes really, really bad. It tastes terrible. I just don't like it. Are those the reasons that we gave?
Yes.
Now I want to show you something. See, you thought I was going to be talking about the mustard seed. How many times in your life have you encountered somebody who had a problem with you, and the only reasons they could give you is, I just don't like you, I don't like the music. They don't say I don't like the way you taste. Okay? They don't like the music, they don't like your style, they don't like the things you like. They see no value in you because they don't like the visible properties of your life. But have you encountered people that are that way?
No.
Yes.
No.
Sure you have. All the time. I don't like Roy. Why? Because boys should have shorter hair. Anybody ever say that?
No.
You're young. Have they said it to you?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I had long hair for a whole summer. Gracie changed my name to Ponytail Dad.
I remember that.
You do?
I'm sure.
You know how many people got upset because Pastor had long hair for a summer? They completely forgot about my ability to preach. They forgot about my ability to sing. They forgot about my ability to visit them in the hospital and help them when they were having trouble. Their whole mentality, not everybody, just a few random people. I love my pastor. I just wish he would cut that hair. Hippie. Hello? Now you know what generation they were from. How many knew about these properties that I shared with you about mustard? Okay? And the problem is that it's okay to like mustard or not like mustard. Thank God they have other medicines so that you don't have to take mustard. But we discount things so easily because we don't know the real value. We don't know the real value. And that's what happens to us. All of us. It doesn't just happen to your generation. It doesn't just happen to you. It happens to me. From people older than me. From people younger than me. From people of a different race than me. From people of a different lifestyle than me. Everybody screams we need to be tolerant. Everybody screams we need to be accepting. And nobody fully means it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's always going to be somebody. Everybody but you, bro. Does that make sense? Now, with that in mind, I want to talk about your value. And I'm running out of pretzels, and it's probably a good thing. In talking about your value, one of the things that happens, let's leave that here, I'm going to need some more pretzels when I'm done. Is that most of the time when somebody doesn't value you, It's because they do not understand your true capacity. They don't understand what you really are capable of and what God has placed well within you. They only understand the part that they see, and they tend to measure the part they see based on their preferences, their likes. Does that make sense? Psalm 139. In Psalm 139, King David is writing a song, and he says, I will praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Now that sounds a little bit arrogant. I'm going to praise you God, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Well, happy for you. Go on with that. He goes on to say, in a praise to God, before I was formed in my mother's womb, you knew me. You knew me. There's all kind of argument about the capacity that God has to know us and to understand us, to know who we are, to understand who we are. I ended up in a situation, and I'm going to tread on something as pastor I get to tread on. Okay? I had somebody call me out down in Savannah. I go down and I spend time in Savannah, and when I'm spending time in Savannah, I generally run into students. There's a very large artistic college in Savannah, which I will say without saying any name. Most of you know what it is. Don't call it out. But I'll tell you, there's some crazy folk that go to that school. Okay, it's a crazy place, and I like to hang out. There's a couple little coffee places, a couple little places I go to hang out, and I work because I like seeing people. I like watching what's going on, and I have people come and they encounter me. And one day, somebody was coming and they encountered me about something, and somebody got into a whole discussion about conception. And I'm like, I'm not going to preach on this, but they drew me in because they knew who I was. They said, "Can you tell me this question?" I said, "You pastor a church?" I said, "Yeah, I pastor a church." I said, "Do you believe life begins at conception?" And you know what I told them? No, make sure it doesn't get edited. I want the whole thing. What do you think I told them? Does life begin at conception? What do you think I told them? I said exactly what I told them. No, life does not begin at conception. You know why I said that? Because the scripture says, before I was even formed in the womb, God knew me.
It's good.
I want to ask you a question. When did God have his first thought? The Bible says that God is omnipotent, he's omniscient, he's omnipresent. He knows all, he's everywhere. Okay? And he's all powerful. We think as we grow. You learn as you grow. How many remember when you first learned the alphabet? A, B, C, what's next?
E.
All right. And then you learn to put sounds to the letters. A is, B is, B, C is, D is, duh. And then you learn how to put the words together. C-A-T, D-O-G, E-H-E-L-E. Eagle.
Oh.
E-A-G-L-E.
I think it's H. I heard H.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You heard H? That'd be Hegel.
I was so I was like, huh?
All right. But whatever, you learn that, you learn linearly. 2 plus 2 is?
4.
4 plus 4 is?
8.
8 plus 8 is?
16.
16 and 16 is? 32. 6 times 7?
42.
Yeah.
How did you learn how to do that?
Math.
Math.
They taught me a teacher.
Over and over and over and over again. Repetition is the motor of learning. You did it right. Your teacher gives you 20 math problems. I know how to do this. We're going to make sure. Right? And she told you you're going to learn and you're going to do it and you'll get better at it because you do it more often. Right? Now you can just spout it up. God does not learn linearly. When God had his first thought, he had all thought. And I've taught this downstairs. But if God had all thought, that means he's always known of you. That the spiritual part of you, the part that has eternal life, he's always, always, always been aware of. How are we doing on my time here? Good?
Perfect.
All right. Now watch this. That means when you were born on the earth, the person that was your mother, the person that was your father, whether biological or not, more than biological. Some people came into the world with a great start. Some people came in the world with a bang. Some people came in and they came into what could be like a nightmare. But no matter how you came into the world, at the moment that you physically came into this world, God had already been aware of who you were. Because before you were even formed in your mother's womb, God was aware of you. What does it mean? It means that when your mama and your daddy got together, God said, yeah, I see what's happening there. This might be rough. This might go well. But I know just a person who can handle what's coming out of this moment. And that's when He dropped you in. Knowing that you would have the capacity to rise above whatever the world would try to throw at you, or how they would choose to define you. Do they like this, or do they not? How do they feel about who you are? You're not defined by the world. You're defined by God. Now, how many understand that? That's something for you to hold on to. Is that regardless of what your physical circumstances on the earth are, God knew who you were before you faced any of them. And God knew that He designed you with the grit in order to be able to overcome whatever it is that gets thrown at you. Wow, look at that. Thank you. Which means there is value in your life that people don't get. There's value in your life that people don't see. And there are things in your life that people won't value because they measure them based on how those things affect them. I know people that will not get around anywhere where there's 5 or 6 2 or 3-year-olds. Why? They drive me crazy. Hello? Y'all got like 8 kids in your house, right? How hard is it for the ones this tall to drive you crazy? Not very hard at all. There's days you're like, I'm leaving, goodbye, I'm out. Deuces. See ya. Now watch. That carries into every aspect of life. Because cultures are built around what people like and what they don't like. We could divide the room in half right now. The mustard lovers and the mustard haters. I'm not a hater. You just prove that you are. Hello? See what I'm saying? Just a little bit. I'm not a hater, but I hate ketchup. I'm not a hater, but I hate mustard. I hate it. And when that happens, the value of what you can bring to the table with your ideas, with your words, with your actions, you get overlooked. Have you ever felt overlooked? I want to show you one thing here. Now I'm going to talk about the mustard seed.
Yay! I knew it was coming.
I wasn't really planning on it, but you brought it up. The disciples were out one day, and I got to go find it in here. No, I don't need Siri. I just need to. I have a Bible in here somewhere. Where's my Bible? There. Matthew says Matthew 17. Yep, there it is. Verse 20. Okay. There's a boy that gets healed. And he had epilepsy, he had seizures, he falls down, says he falls into the fire, he falls into water. He doesn't just have seizures, he has seizures next to fire. The seizures next to water. I mean, it's one thing to hit the ground and have seizures. It's another thing if you trip over the campfire and have a seizure on the campfire. Epileptic barbecue. It's not a good thing. Okay? It's a problem. These people get upset. They don't know what to do with it. But here's the thing. These people said, Jesus is in town. He's got his disciples in town. Let's take this guy to the disciples, and the disciples can pray over him and heal him. He didn't have just epilepsy. There are times when you have a sickness, and it's just a sickness, but there are times when the sickness can be related to darkness. And in this boy's case, this was a demonic occurrence that was happening. So they said, if we take this boy to the disciples can cast the devil out. But what happens was, they couldn't cure him. So they brought him to Jesus. And listen to what Jesus says. He says, you faithless generation, how long will I be with you? How long shall I bear with you? Bring me the boy. Now Jesus is a little bit frustrated right here. Guys, you're missing the point. How long do I have to deal with people that are missing the point? That's what he's saying. You have no faith. You're a faithless generation. Jesus rebuked the demon. It came out of him. The child was cured that very hour. And the disciples came to Jesus privately. See, they're smart. We're not going to ask this question in front of everybody. We couldn't do it. Nobody could do it. But you did it. Now it's just us. Tell us how you did it. No, more to the point, why couldn't we do it? And this is what he said, because of your unbelief. For I say to you, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you'll say to the mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. But this kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting. And we'll stop right there. How many have heard this passage of Scripture before? All right. What do you immediately get out of it? RJ, what do you get out of it? You don't need that much faith to overcome something. Who else? Roy? What do you get out of it?
Like a little bit goes a long way.
A little bit goes a long way. You notice I was eating mustard with the pretzels, but it was just a little bit of mustard on the pretzel. A little bit goes a long way. How many feel like that's kind of what it's saying? The mustard seed is just this little tiny thing, and if you just had faith this big, you could do a lot. Now, here's the thing. That little tiny seed, which is like the size of a pinhead, has the capacity to produce a tree that goes 10 foot tall. So yeah, a little bit, go a long way. But I want to ask you this question. What is a little bit? How much faith is enough faith? How much of the little bit of faith is enough faith? Roy?
I want to say how much I would say what it's about.
Okay, can you define that a little bit?
That Jesus died on the cross for you.
Okay. So that's right, that's what it's about. But how much belief in that do we have to be able to overcome in certain situations? A little bit. But how much is a little bit? A little bit. That's a great answer, but it doesn't answer the question.
More than none.
More than none. Okay, let's put it in percentages. You guys all know if you've dealt with percentages. 90%, 80%?
The most, like, like 0.000 to like 1.
Point zero 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 zero, like 1,
Infinity.
infinity to 1.
To 1.
Pi? Mustard pie?
Yeah.
How much is a little bit? Yeah,
Enough to go to heaven?
enough to go
It's
to
just
heaven.
enough.
See, this is how we've thought of this. You want to know what the faith of the mustard seed is? It's the mustard seed saying, I only have one job. You had one job. Anybody ever heard that?
Yes.
Mom tells you to do something. The time I get home from work today, I don't need everything. I just want you to dust. You come home, you haven't dusted. What does she say? You had one job.
Dinner.
Do you know what percentage the faith of a mustard seed really is? Watch this. 100%.
So I thought that, but I didn't say it.
So you should have
It's
said
a
it.
little thing that has 100%.
It is a little thing that has 100%.
Okay.
See, here's the catch of the mustard seed. Here's the catch to understanding the mustard seed. The mustard seed has one job. What is this job? Make more. Mustard. What is the job of the seed? To grow a tree that will produce more seeds. Let me put it another way. The mustard seed holds to its purpose. I had a funny thing happen years ago. Cindy and I were in Louisiana, and we had one vehicle in Louisiana. We had an extended time. We had an extended revival. We ended up moving there for about 6 months. The pastor, right after we got there, the pastor's father died. The pastor had this old pickup truck. And the pastor said, look, you only got one car, and you need that with your family. Why don't you just take the old truck and just drive the old truck? So you have a second car so your wife will have a car when she needs it. So we were there, and I took this guy's truck. This truck had been on the farm for nearly 30 years. It had never, ever been washed. It never even had been tagged. They only used it on the farm, but it never had a license tag on it. So he lets me go and get this truck, and I get this truck, and this is a farm truck. It didn't smell good. It didn't look great. I certainly wasn't hip driving it. It was a god-awful mess. So I took the truck to the car wash, and I didn't just wash it, I scrubbed it. I spent like half a day at the car wash working on the truck, getting the truck cleaned out. Well, I worked on the truck. We had a Friday night meeting. I worked on the truck all day Friday. Well, I took the truck back to the apartment where I was staying, and I parked the truck. We went on about the weekend. I did the meeting on Friday. I did the meeting on Saturday. I did the meeting on Sunday. We went out to eat Sunday afternoon. Sunday evening, I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to finish cleaning out this truck. I cleaned up the outside. The outside looks really good. Now I need to clean out the inside. Now here's the problem. Because the truck had never been washed, the seal that went around the back window of the truck leaked. So some of the water that I was using to wash the truck had gone down into the inside of the truck. Well, there was dirt all over the inside of the truck. When I moved the seat forward so that I could vacuum behind it, all along the back behind the seat was a pile of dirt. And there was about 500 little green shoots of grass that was growing out of the dirt. Because somewhere along the time that they had that truck, the farmer had spilled a pack of seeds. And now that pack of seeds was sitting in the dirt. And when it got the warmth and it got the water, the seeds sprouted. I don't know what they were growing, and I got rid of them real quick because I was afraid it might be illegal. These seeds been in the truck I don't know how long. Years in the Louisiana heat. But the minute they were given the opportunity, they did the only thing they knew how to do. And that was sprout. We could have taken those seeds, planted them, and we could have grown whatever they were and sold it. I didn't. I swept it into the wastebasket. I kept some of them because it made a great sermon illustration. I put them in little cups. He died. Because I didn't water them. I only needed them a couple days. What about planting a garden? It's not my purpose. But those seeds only did what they knew to do. It only did, let me rephrase it. They only did what God designed them to do. That is what the faith of the mustard seed is about. It is about you coming to an understanding that God made you fearfully and wonderfully. He made you with purpose. He made you with design. He made you with intent. He gave you a brain. He gave you the opportunity to gain wisdom. He gave you the opportunity to learn. And he did it so that you could make a difference in others. Now, how many of you are connected to TikTok? Anybody connected to TikTok? You got these people get on TikTok all the time. What do they call those people?
TikTok.
Influencers.
Influencers. Why do they call them influencers?
Because they influence people.
That's right, it's not rocket science.
People learn these dances and now they start trends with their dances. So
They start
one person
trends.
does it, and so
Okay.
let me try it.
Now let me ask you a question. Being on TikTok, how much of what's on TikTok is really Not that great to watch.
About 50%.
How many know there's a lot of junk on TikTok? There's a lot of stuff. If you were watching TikTok and your mom came in, she would just like
Be like, snap.
snap.
Give me
Where'd
your
my phone go? You don't need that phone no more. Am I right?
See, my
Why
phone,
would she pull that phone away?
because it's not good for you.
Because there's some bad stuff on it. So think about this. You have all these people they call influencers, and they are influencing the culture in a negative term, in a negative way. The enemy understands what God wrote into your DNA. He understands that God gave you gifts and abilities, and he understands that at your core, God designed you to make a difference, to influence. And he's taking these people that are not walking with God, and they don't even realize they're being influenced beyond themselves. They're just being influenced by the culture. But who's driving the hand of the culture when you watch it go down and down and down and down? And the fact of the matter is that what God designed in man to do good things, the enemy's trying to do it the opposite direction. And people fall to it. So you have all of these people that are called influencers who are just sticking things in there and creating a trend and creating problems and creating damage, causing people to get their phones snatched by their moms. And a whole lot worse. What would happen if we stopped to consider the value that we have and made a decision to use those same gifts? Gifts that right now some people around you don't even see or ignore or don't like. And we begin to use those gifts to make a positive difference in the world we touch. There could be some people, I don't like you, why? Because you're mustard. But they don't know all of the properties inside of you, all of the health benefits that are inside of you, all the things that can make a positive difference inside of you. Instead of judging you by what they know, the more you let your light be seen, the more you can make a difference with your friends, with your family, and guess what? Right here in church. Right here in church. Your voice is important to me. What you say, what you think, what you see, it matters. You want to say something to me as pastor? I want to hear what you have to say. I may not always agree with it, and I may see a side to it that you haven't had a chance to see yet, because that's my job. But I'm not going to discount it. Why? Because what you have to say is valuable. You may be able to teach me some things about people your age that I don't know, so that I stop doing things with my hands that I shouldn't do. Pastor, don't ever do that again. Right? Is that one I should say don't ever do again?
I have no idea what it means.
Well, see, you and I are in the same boat, so don't do it until we find out. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
But how do we handle those type of people? Like, what should we do?
With honor and with respect. You know when people will tend to respect what you have inside of you is when you demonstrate, not just with your words in the moment, but with your actions, that you honor them. When we're down on Sunday mornings and we're worshiping, be involved in the worship. Let them see that you are an active participant in our church family, this family of God. Okay? Let them see that you value the same things that they value, your relationship with God. Let them see that you value them. Hey, how are you doing today? Oh, I'm talking to them. Why? I'm going to say that. Well, if you never have anything to say to them, when you don't have anything to say to them, when you have something that's worth saying, they won't know how to hear you. Hello can go a long way. What's up? How you doing? I'm doing good. Be pleasant. Be light. Be life. Why? Because in the moments that you do that, you begin to build a relationship that will cause people to respect you, not based on what they've experienced, but based on what they're experiencing coming out of you. You know how old I was when I started liking mustard? 21. 21. Until I was 21, I didn't like mustard. Now, Jeremy grew up in New York. He liked mustard. They had mustard in his formula, probably. Right? But for me, it became an acquired taste. Why? Because I was around it enough to begin to appreciate what's really there. Hello? Does that make sense? Did y'all learn something tonight? You're valuable. You're valuable to me. Don't degrade that value. Don't let other people do it. But you degrade it when you don't act on it. We're done right now. You're supposed to give me a signal. You didn't give me a signal. Let's pray. Father, tonight as